Hey, this is Tom Jacobs. I'm on the web at tdjacobs.com and also healingsuicide.com. And I'm an evolutionary astrologer and also a channel and a medium and an energy worker. Do all kinds of different things to help you uh, overcome the painful past, including other lifetimes or stuff in this life that may have you stuck in different ways. And one of my commitments is to help you empower yourself. So, as an evolutionary astrologer, but also a very Plutonian person, I spend a lot of time dealing with Pluto and giving people positive perspectives on how to live with Pluto. It's not just enough to know what the shadow is, and I've developed a lot of tools to help you move through the shadows with compassionate awareness. So, I'm doing this video to introduce the Pluto Healing Intensive webinar, which starts August 20th. And this is a very Aquarian age kind of setup where I used to do, well, and I'm sure I'll do in the future again, but I've done between family contracts issues, Chiron, and Pluto, I've done 6 4-day intensives where people travel to wherever I feel like doing doing the intensive. One was in Portland, 2 were in Sedona, 3 were in Tucson, I think, and where I was living. And people would travel and come, and we have this 4-day incubator slash crucible. We dive deep, we do all this stuff, but it's for 6 people, and the larger public doesn't have an opportunity to come in. So what I've done is translated that teaching and how to do that into an open kind of Aquarian age kind of group where over 3 months the intensive will not be the intensive will be about the depth we go to in unraveling Plutonian issues. But there aren't set meetings. You don't have to travel, and there's no required meetings except your individual reading. So basically, how it works is August 20th and 27th are intro, each is 3 hours, are intro presentations. All of the Pluto stuff about soul, karma, reincarnation, Pluto, how it relates to soul, the channeled model of soul that I brought through from Hermes, also known as Jehudi, Thoth, Saint Germain Merlin, all the intro stuff, Q&A on Pluto, kind of like how to work with the shadows and kind of all the mechanics and the details and the psychological, emotional, spiritual stuff that I specialize in. And then in every person who's part of this group will have an individual reading with me. I'm figuring about 60, 70 minutes, but enough to get into Plutonian issues and help each person privately, right, individually, work through Plutonian issues and become empowered, understanding how to live with his or her Pluto in an empowered way. Everybody who's part of the group will have access to all the recordings. This is why it's so cool, because you get a deep dive with me one on one, as in a focused consultation or reading, including your spirit guides all channel and also Hermes and Jehudi Thoth, that being using your chart. Anyway, that's for you. It's all private, except that the people in the group have access to the recordings. So the intensive is the depth we're going to. The depth with you, the depth with other people. You get to share your experiences. Now Plutonian stuff can be quite private, but all of this is confidential. And I'm inviting everybody who joins in to be willing to have the humility to not only talk about these issues and go to these places, but also co-create a community of people who are endeavoring to really make peace with what may have gone wrong or felt horrible about their Plutonian experiences. So, in line with that, there will be a number of, over these 3 months, say September, October, November, a series of group check-in calls that are optional. And they'll be staggered because some people in Australia and Asia and Africa and Europe and North and South America um, can the times will be staggered to give options for people. So I don't think everybody is going to be able to make every call, but you'll have the option of making probably about half of them. Just FYI. So and those recordings and those for Q&A, that's for processing. Like maybe I do your reading, um, and you feel processed, but then 2 weeks later you think of something or have a question, come to one of the Q&A calls, the optional group check-in calls, and we'll work through it, but other people can also learn from each other. So I'm super excited about this because at the start, well, the last intensive I did was the Chiron intensive, which was early February of 2020. So before our lockdowns, before people were quarantining and locking down, and we didn't know the scope of this, and so I've had several requests to do another Pluto intensive, um, and it just logistically hasn't worked out. So I'm really excited to open this up. Again, it starts August 20th, and the only thing that's required, the only time spot, will be a mutually agreed upon reading between you and me, or I read you. And so I'm really excited because people don't, I do this work constantly with people, with myself, with other people, and unless I make a video and put it on YouTube about some Plutonian thing, people don't get exposed to the amazing things I witness people do regarding empowering themselves or coming out of disempowerment. And that's another note actually I want to include in here. Why do I want to do this? Well, you have a Plutonian person who focuses on empowering people in Plutonian ways regarding Plutonian issues. That's me. And while all evolutionary astrologers deal with Pluto, the information I've gotten from Hermes, Thoth, Jehudi has really enriched and deepened. And again, it's not enough to know what the shadow is. It's not enough to know what the pain is. We have to have tools and perspectives and strength to transform through them. Not fight the shadows, but make allies of those shadows. And I'm going to teach you how to do that in the intensive. So I get to witness people going through these amazing processes. And what we often do is fight our shadows, in which case we just spend years fighting. I'm trying to control this thing, this anger, or I'm trying to, in my experience, or I'm trying to manage this grief, right? Or depressiveness, or some other Plutonian thing that we don't want to talk about, but in Jehudi's workshop and Tom's workshop, we talk about it all the time. But we typically don't want to deal with those things because we don't know how to effectively deal with the shadows. The parts of you that have been denied acceptance. So I'm going to teach you how to accept them, no matter what that painful emotion is. Because the reality is a part becomes a shadow because you've been shaped by real world experience in this life or other lives. So somebody who's angry, you want to defend against them. Somebody who's raging, who's exploding, you want to defend against them. It's not going to help you integrate. That's not going to help you heal. To create, to think of parts of you as either enemies or villains or bad in some way or even evil. So, compassion awareness is part of it. Listening to those parts, making friends. Anyway, so I kind of specialize in this, and I'm excited to bring you into this. Like I said, people don't have access to all the things I do with Pluto because it's an individual thing, and this webinar is going to change that. So again, all the people who sign up, it'll be a closed group. None of them will be public, and everyone will commit to confidentiality. But I want to help you transform, and I want to help you learn about empowering ways to deal with Pluto, not just your own Pluto, but understanding where other people are coming from too, and how you can see through the lens of maybe dozens of people, maybe more, how to look at the problem, stop fighting it, accept it, and learn how to transform the relationship with that shadow. So again, the Pluto Healing Intensive webinar is open to everybody all over the place. You just have to have a solid internet connection or periodically have one. And there are no meetings that are required except your own reading. And I'm really excited to bring this to you. Check it out at tdjacobs.com. Until June 15th, I know a lot of you will see this after that, but until June 15th, 2022, there is an early registration deal of $50 off. So check that out at tdjacobs.com, and I'm really looking forward to helping you transform through your shadow material and get on with self-acceptance, self-care, and empowerment. Take care.